Alright, let's clear the air on something right away. We've heard it all before. Gary Neville was just part of a great team. He wasn't even that good, really. Because if we look closer, Gary Neville's story in football tells us something entirely different. And by the end of this, you might just see him in a whole new light. Now I know what you're thinking. Come on, Neville was in a team with players like Beckham, Scholes, and Giggs. Of course, he was going to look good. But what if I told you he was more than just the right guy at the right time? What if Neville's success was more about his skill, consistency, and mentality than just being part of an iconic Manchester United squad? Let's rewind to the early 90s. Gary Neville is undeniably one of the finest right-backs to have graced the Premier League. From his debut in 1992 until his retirement in 2011, he was part of a United side that won nearly every major title, sometimes multiple times. His career pinnacle came in 1999 when United achieved the historic treble, with Neville playing an essential role in every competition. In that season, he featured in 34 of 38 league matches, every FA Cup game, and every Champions League game. So why do people often argue that Neville was merely a product of a great team, benefiting from Beckham's presence down the right flank? It's assumed that he merely supported Beckham, but in truth, they complemented each other, forming one of the most devastating right-sided partnerships in football during the late 90s and early 2000s. Beckham's crosses and Neville's overlapping runs defined United's offensive power down the right wing. When Beckham left in 2003, critics assumed that Neville's limitations would be exposed. But he stepped up, becoming arguably United's best crosser for a time, mastering the first-time delivery to create chances before defenders could even react. Neville's importance was about more than hard work. It's what made him a natural successor as captain after Roy Keane's departure. Under his captaincy, United won 4 league titles and a European Cup from 2006 to 2011. Name another captain with comparable success who has spoken about the way Neville is Jordan Henderson, who achieved a fraction of what Neville did, commands more respect from fans. Neville's loyalty was undeniable. For 2 decades, he remained a fixture at United while the club dominated English football, starting in 8 title-winning campaigns. During this time, United recruited only 3 other right-backs, Henning Berg, Richie de Laet, and Rafael da Silva. His reliability in the lineup, even as other positions saw rotation, shows he was far from a mere passenger. And while many other respected right-backs, names like Ashley Cole, Pablo Zabaleta, and Kyle Walker, have impressive resumes, they've collectively notched fewer assists than Neville alone. Additionally, he boasted a 37% clean sheet rate, a stat that only Lee Dixon from that list matched. But despite these accomplishments, Neville is often brushed aside as an average player. So why the underappreciation? 3 factors explain this misconception. First, recency bias. Football fans tend to view recent players as better by default, sometimes overlooking contributions from earlier eras. Suggesting that Neville wasn't one of the best defenders of his time simply doesn't align with reality. When you consider Neville's technical skills on the ball, comparing him with fullbacks like Trent or Cancelo is as fruitless as measuring Beckham's and Salah's goal records side by side. Modern fullbacks have distinct requirements. Sure, Neville might not have had a standout attribute like Walker's raw speed or Trent's pinpoint deliveries. Yet, he excelled as an intelligent, fierce, and unyielding defender who rarely allowed any space, sent precise crosses into the box, and consistently delivered a solid 7.5 out of 10 performance across nearly every game in a season. While Neville didn't revolutionize the fullback role, he perfected it within his era. Though he may not rank alongside the likes of Cafu or Thuram, he certainly stands shoulder to shoulder with figures like Zanetti and Zambrotta. It's challenging to compare across eras. The best we can do is assess a player relative to their peers. And within his time, Neville was as effective as Walker, perhaps even more so than Trent. Neville's crosses were more accurate, though he delivered them at a lower frequency, again reflecting different positional demands. I won't claim Neville could execute the deep passes or set pieces Trent does. He couldn't. But Trent wouldn't have thrived in Neville's role either. His defensive limitations and reluctance to track back would have left him exposed weakly. The primary issue Neville faced was his own visibility on the pitch, with natural body positioning making it hard to spot players on his blind side. However, he often thrived when the defensive demands were at their toughest, largely due to his partnership with Gary Neville. Imagine Van Dijk or Kane feeling that secure about Trent. They likely wouldn't. Another challenge Neville faced was the hostility from opposition fans, which continued when he transitioned to punditry in 2011. To win people over, he leaned into humor and self-deprecation, charming even those who once disliked him or only caught the tail end of his career. This humility has reshaped the perception of his skill, though he won't be setting the record straight himself anytime soon. Instead, let's let the football legends who've played with or against him weigh in. They understand that his professionalism and relentless drive didn't mask any lack of skill. They enhanced it. Playing for his lifelong club wasn't a limitation, it was an advantage. A player can't last over 2 decades at a club like United without genuine talent. Self-deprecation might be an appealing trait, but in Neville's case, it's sometimes excessive. Having a legendary fullback like Gary Neville around during a critical match speaks volumes. Watching players who might not have matched his achievements make side comments about him can be irritating. And for the record, Neville's success wasn't luck. 8 league titles, 2 Champions Leagues, 3 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 85 international caps, 5 different England Managers' Trust, and 5 PFA Team of the Year selections, all while helping United maintain dominance over Liverpool? You decide who should be having the last laugh. If you enjoyed this deeper look at Neville's journey, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more deep dives into football's legends. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.